band is back together. Smitty is out of the woods. He did not get eaten by a razorback nor a bear. How we living, buddy?
Living good. It was a good time. Good to get away. Well, I'm glad to be back.
Well, we're going to talk about him getting back a little bit here. Um, so we're going to have you break this down. Someone says, hey, I have some tickets before I go. I'm going to throw some lineups in because I'm not going to have any service. And Smitty walks back and says, hey, by the way, I won 30K. So what contest was it? What'd you have a ticket for? And just walk everybody through your lineup and how you ended up here.
It was actually the main on FanDuel that night. So I think it was a $15. There was like 11,000 people in it. And I had put in some lineups and pretty much just off the solver. I had no time to do any research or anything. I just threw some lineups in and honestly got lucky.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, you got to get that. How many lineups you put in that night?
I had I think it was between 15 and 20.
Right. So you were $300 in.
Yep.
Right. So you 1,000 extra money. Terrible. But again, there's time. I've done it. Like, right. You go in, you're using the projections, MoonShots projections, solver spit it out. All right. Hey, I got some lineups. Do you have is there anything particular you're setting? Like, did you do any min-max stuff or you just threw it in and said, let's go?
I normally do. On this one, I just set it to either give me a 4-3 or 4-4 stack. And this is one of them that popped out that had lower ownership. So I went with this one.
There you go. Right. So, again, taking advantage of the tools we got a cool partnership with Solver. I really like their optimizer. Their optimizer will also knock out tiers. Shout out, Mr. White Rooms has been crushing tiers with MoonShots this season. Smitty won 30K while I was camping. Threw it in, said I'm not going to have any service. Didn't even know till he got back.
Yep, that's how it was. I had no idea.
So that has to be a pleasant surprise when you open the FanDuel account.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, we got a big 12 gamer today. We're getting lineups. We just got the Twins lineup. No Royce Lewis today, by the way. I'm pretty shocked they're sitting him today. I mean, I get it. Like, hey, let's work him back in and, make sure he doesn't break. But thought that was interesting. No Royce against the A's. So that's going to open up third base quite a bit. But let's talk about pitching. We're getting some better ownership numbers now. We both wrote up early. Ownership was a little skewed. So, let's start up top. Where are you at on Mr. Sale versus the Rays today?
It's pretty hard to not play him. I don't really love the salary. Like, I think some of these mid-range pitchers have just as much upside, but Sale's just less risky, but you're paying for it. So I'm a little bit underweight, but I think he's a good option.
Yeah, so now that his ownership's coming down, I'm a little better. Right, this morning he was in the 40s, and I'm just like, I'm not playing a 40% owned pitcher on a 12-game slate. Like, that just goes against every fiber of how I like to play single entry 3 max. If he gets in that 25 range, I'll put him in the mix again at 10. They're just even up top. There's some other guys I like now. Right now, keep in mind, Smitty's going to play 100, 150 lineups. I'm talking about playing 1 to 3. So, keep that in mind as we're looking at how we want to pull that. Because generally what I do is I run 20 lineups out. Like, I build 20 lineups and then I pull my 3 that I like, right? I'm looking at what's ownership, what stack look like, right? Like, and trying to get a little leverage there. So the one he's creeping up now, and I just don't understand it, is Tariq gets the Astros today. And he's up to 16% at a 10-2K. Where are you going to land on him? Because I got a pretty interesting what I think take is on him today.
Let's see. Right now, I mean, he's kind of in the same boat. I don't love the matchup against Houston. They just don't really strike out. But right now, I'm about with the field.
So, do you know who has the lowest K rate this season and the last 2 weeks versus left-handed pitching on the slate?
Astros.
That would be the Astros, and it's a pretty significant like percent. So I just can't go there, right? Like my issue is at 10-2, right? I need him to have 10, 12 Ks. I need him to go shout out Crochet last night, cover boy, him with the D-backs. I kept going back. I had a very good night last night. So last night was a ton of fun. D-backs finally paid off. And I was all in on Crochet, got us those 13 Ks. So shout out Garrett, good job. But that being said, I'm not going there in 3 max single entry today. I'm going to go the next step down. He's in the middle, but we're talking about 9K and up pitchers. I'm going Bradish. Bradish is 10%. He looked fantastic in his last outing, right? Like I really liked him in the last outing. And Philly is middle of the road, in K rate. So right, I mean they're nothing crazy, but they're in the 20s. And the thing is though, that lineup that Philly's throwing out, they adjusted a little, but still they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 guys with a 20% or higher K rate. That's a significant savings. I think he's one of the best values bang for buck today. So where are you going to land on Mr. Bradish?
Yeah, I'm the same with Bradish. I like him, and Vegas even thinks Bradish is good. I mean, just looking at the Phillies team total, and he's in a pretty good part. The price is nice, and he's just been dominant this year. I like going there.
Yeah, and keep in mind, guys, the total in that game is 7 tonight, right? So the books think it's going low. There's a lot of signs that point there, and he's low ownership. Like, I mean, those are now. I think in single entry he's going to creep up a little. I think some of the smarter single entry players are going to creep him, but again, he's there. And then Freddie versus Cincy. I like Freddie. Give me Freddie and Bradish over Tariq and Sale today at that higher price. Again, the Reds K enough that upside's there. It's 25%. If I'm going to pay up, I don't mind going to Freddie.
Yeah, I don't mind Freddie either. He's kind of right in the middle for me. I'm about with the field on him.
And then, let's talk about that next here, right? So I'm not going to Ranger. The O's just don't K enough for me, right? Ranger's up to $9,900. Again, their K rate isn't high enough to justify that price. Like that's my issue with the O's. They're one of the better, non-K teams in the league. So I'm going to avoid there. You're going to be below field on Suarez today.
Yeah, I am as well. I hate playing pitchers against the Orioles.
Yeah, me too. And then, all right. So what do you think of Hunter Brown against the Tigers today?
I like Hunter Brown today. He's shown signs of life. I think he's just improving. The Tigers have a low total too, so I like going to Brown today.
Same. So $7,200. I like it. I'm okay at his ownership. He's in that category for me. I like SWR at $7,500 versus the A's. Again, he's around 10% right now. We know they're not going to let him go 7, but he's shown he can get us 8, 9, 10 Ks. And that A's lineup just, some days they need a cricket ball bat. And I think today might be one of those days.
Yeah, I like him as well. That A's offense is they're rough.
Yeah, I mean, they started okay, and they're just so home run dependent. So
yeah.
SWR for me there. And then where I'm going to go, I'm not really messing with the rest of the field. I'll let you talk about where you're going on the rest of the field. The spots that I'm really going to look at, if I want to punt, I'm going to go Nelson at $5,500 versus the Sox today. Now, what I think you might see in single entry 3 max is a Sale Nelson, a Screwball Nelson, a Bradish Nelson, a Freddie Nelson, right? So I won't play that combo. If I go Nelson, I'm punting. I'm going SWR or Brown and just going 2 cheap pitchers. That's going to be my style versus that today. Where are you landing there, and where are you gonna, where are you at on the rest of the pitchers in the field?
Yeah, I like that. I think that's what they will do in single entry. So I kind of like how you talked about going 2 mid-range or cheaper pitchers and kind of just changing the lineup construction. But the other pitcher I do like today is Luis Castillo.
Yeah.
Don't love him, but I think he's a pretty good play, especially at his price. And then I'm getting to a little bit of Heaney, but I also like Seattle. It's just kind of one of those where I want both. In single entry, I don't think I would play Heaney, but um, I do have a little bit of Reagan's. It's a tough offense, but he's shown he could do it against anybody. So I like getting there some too.
Yeah, my issue with Reagan's is just he's $9,400 on today's slate, right? And in three max single entry, I don't need access to that many pitchers, right?
No.
Like for me, like bang for the buck, like it just doesn't make sense, right? Like as I start looking at ownership and where we're gonna land, like it, he just doesn't like he's not gonna be in my pool against the Dodgers. What do you think of Gosman against the Guardians today?
I liked him to start the day. I still kind of do. They just don't strike out, so I don't know. He's just so cheap that it's just a weird price. It feels like you almost should play him, but I don't know.
Yeah. My issue is I like the Guardians bats. I like the Naylor Bros. I like J Ram. And again, he's just they just don't strike out enough for me. So, I'll be interested to see, as we get a little bit closer, where we end up. And then down at the bottom, I think we could see Spencer Howard get a little love. Like I think he can creep up to 5-6% with the Giants tonight. So that's my one other spot I'm going to pay attention to. It's there. So we got about half the lineup so far, which is kind of nice. So we'll get into the bats. Let's just start at the top. I'm not going Phillies. We already talked about that. I like a little Oreos, but again, that total 7, that's just not a game on a 12-game slate I want to attack. That's not really my style today.
Yeah, me neither. I'm not really getting to either team. My highest exposed is Mateo, just because he fills the second base position on a good offense. So I like getting there a little bit, but that's about it.
Okay. Next game, I think we're going to see some ownership. Let's see where we're at on Jay's ownership. Are they getting up there yet? Yeah, I mean, not terrible. They're a little higher than I expected him to be. I don't understand it. I don't love him. And obviously I'm not on Allen because he just doesn't care enough. But I like the Guardian side. So, right, like that J Ram Naylor. I'm not going to go Fry because he's still $5,300. Like he's my issue. Now shortstop. Sheenman today is an awesome spot to punch shortstop. He's $2,200. It lets you stack that lineup. He hits righties well. And you can get down to like Bo, right? You get $3,100. That lets you get, J Ram, Josh, a Jimenez Quan like mix in there. So I like Cleveland today.
Yeah, I'm getting to some Cleveland too. I don't mind them. I don't really have a ton of Jays, but it'd be mainly a 3-man of Jansen, Vlad, and Bichette if I was getting there.
Yeah. I'm not going to mess with the Mets Padres. I don't like the total. There's a little weather issue in New York. I'm just not going there today.
Yeah, I'm not really getting to either side. I had a little bit of interest in the Mets, but they're kind of priced appropriately. So not really getting there.
Yeah, and Tatis is finally up, right? We got to play him a ton when he was cheap. Again, he's almost 6K now. I don't now. Here's the thing. I don't mind because of sales ownership throwing a couple raised bats in there, right? Like I don't hate how they mix in. Sales going to get, some pretty high ownership. So I don't hate getting to like Siri today, maybe a little Yandy. I think that could be a cool way to leverage off the field of hair. Kind of mix that in, maybe a little Randy. So I don't know that I go full stack, but I think they could definitely be some fillers.
Yeah, I like that. The Rays have been good against left-handed pitching, so that's one thing that worries me about Sale too. So I don't mind, since I'm getting a Sale, getting a few Rays mini stacks mixed in.
Yeah, I think that's a cool spot to leverage. And the Braves since April 27th have scored the fewest runs in Major League Baseball. I will continue to avoid everyone but Azuna. You can play Azuna any day you want. He's the only guy really hitting. Olsen's finally getting it together, but they're just not hitting. I just have no desire to really mess with them. And again, too big a slate for me to go there.
Yeah, it's such a good spot too, so it's disappointing. But
Yeah.
like you said, it's Ozuna, and I like Michael Harris still. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah. I mean, he's $4,500. I don't, it's just an for me.
Yeah,
I don't really want to mess with the bats and the Tigers Astros game. That 7 total isn't exciting. So again, I can understand getting a little screwball because of that. But again, the Astros don't strike out enough. I don't hate a little Hunter. So I'm going the other way there.
yeah, that's where I'm at. I have a few Tigers bats mixed in, although I like Hunter Brown, just mainly mini stacks of the cheap guys just to help me fit in some stuff I need.
All right. I need you to walk me through something. Can you walk me through why the Twins, other than it's Rocco, just decided to take, Jeffers is on this massive hit, crushing the ball, and now they're just platooning him all the time. Do we have an insight onto what that lunatic is doing?
No, it confuses me every day. You really never know what you're going to get with their lineup, no matter what.
Right. So now we got no Royce today. It takes a lot of the fun out of that, right? So do they pinch hit Royce later in the game? Probably. And I get their load management. The dude's made of toilet paper, so I understand it. But, that was like with him in that lineup, the total was 9. I kind of really liked it. I'm just going to have a hard time getting there now today.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I liked the Twins originally, and now they just kind of faded off for me. They look average.
All right. We just got the A's lineup. I'm all in on SWR. Whew. Look at that K rate. That's, I'm all in on SWR at $7,500. That Rays lineup, that A's lineup is boo boo. Let's see the Detroit. We got the Detroit lineup. Same. That Detroit lineup, who they threw out, right? Like, that bottom half. They ran out JHM. They're running out Rogers, Creeder. Yeah, pass. All right. Same. Another low total in the Reds Brewers. I like the Freddie side a little more. The Reds lineup's okay. And Hunter's had some K upside. The issue is there's only a few guys on the Brewers that strike out. Like, right, it's really Perkins and Jackson. So I don't love Hunter today at his 8,300 price. I don't hate him, but I don't love him either.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I prefer the pitching side here. I'm not really getting to either offense. Hunter Green has been pretty good at limiting power this year. I don't know if it's a fluke or if he fixed something, but it's not really someone I'm running to target.
Yeah. Interesting spot. And then the question, to Coors or to not to Coors, right? Again, the total's 11. Feltner's on the mound. Ortiz on the mound. Like, in an MME, you're getting there. But where are you going to land on the field?
Let's see. I'm actually under the field on both teams right now. I have more Rockies than I do Pirates, but altogether it's a pretty tough spot to avoid, but it's also gross. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if they scored 25 runs, I'm not surprised. If they score 3 runs, I'm not surprised.
Yep.
It's Coors. The total's 11. Terrible pitching. I do like the Colorado McMahon side. And what I don't hate here is like doing like a McMahon Cruz stack and getting one, getting a bat from each side. I don't hate Sawinski, like getting a little mini stack if you're going to go there. I get going there, guys. It's Coors. It can break the slate. But it's frustrating to me.
Yep.
All right. Well, we get the Diamondbacks roll off that great day yesterday, and now they get flexing in the Sox. I'm going back there. I like the top 7 of their lineup, and I like Perdomo. The only guy I'm really not playing is Barnhart because it's Tucker. So I like, again, the total's 9. They're at home. That pin is dog water. So I love the D-backs. I like Walker again, even though he went double dong last night. And I like Vaughn if you want to full stack that game. But like I said, I kind of like Nelson against that lineup if you want to punt pitching with someone else to get to like the expensive Dodgers or something tonight.
Yeah, I could see both sides of that. I'm on the Diamondbacks are my top stack on the night. They're my highest exposed. but I also do have quite a bit of White Sox just because they're pretty cheap. So they make a good fill in. You almost have just a little game stack, but Robert, he's just been crushing. So I like going there.
Yeah.
And Sheets and Vaughn are probably my other two.
Yep. And he's still only $4,800. So great spot for him. And then it's the Dodgers. I just type it up every day. Play as many as you can, right? Like hopefully you can get access to them when they score 15 runs. Right. They're just, you can't full stack them. They're too expensive. Right. Shohei's probably going to end up 7K by the end of the season at DraftKings, like the way he's hitting. I'm actually not. I like Mookie. I don't love Mookie tonight though, even though he crushes lefties. If I'm gonna go there, like give me Pages, Hernandez. I like a cheap Rojas, so I'll be interested to see how they run the lineup out. And I'm not. Gavin Stone hasn't been great, but I like Bobby for the birthday narrative, and I like Vinny today. So those are the two. And I don't hate a little Velasquez, but Bobby and Vinny for me there.
Yeah, I kind of was waiting on the Royals lineup. I kind of like them right now, but it just depends on their lineup as well.
Yeah, same. I got to see what they run out. If I want to get there. And the other thing, keep in mind, again, that total 7.5. Now the Dodgers can break the slate any day. I like them when they don't, but unless I'm playing them. And then got the late games tonight. The total in the Mariners, right, game with the Rangers, it's terrible hitting park. The total 7. Again, Castillo's only $8,600, and they pushed him for this matchup. Because of the AL thing. So I kind of like that side. I'm not interested in the Mariners at all today. I don't hate Heaney, right? Really, that as I'm digging into it, man, that K rate with Seattle. He's only $7,000. Like I definitely, I might throw him in the pool and see where he ends up.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was. I had interest in the Mariners early in the day, and then the more I kind of researched, I was like, man, I don't know. Heaney's actually in play on this slate. Just these Mariners they're struggling. I don't mind still getting to like a cheap Locklear or Bliss, but Locklear's a first baseman, so there's plenty of first baseman on this slate.
First base is an issue on the slate, right?
Yeah.
Like first base is you got Freddie, Naylor, Harper, Vinny, Vaughn, right? Like I'm Yandy, Shohei, Walker. Like first base is like you could get a little like at FanDuel. I'm probably going double first base. Like that's the reality over at FanDuel today. So of where I'm going to end up, and then last game of the night again. Wind's howling in San Francisco, so they might get a little umph there. They made the totals up to 8. I like the Giant. I like Ramos, man. Ramos is just murdering lefties. Solar murders lefties. I don't hate if you want some late SWAT options. They got some cheap guys and some options there. I'm not going to get to any of the Angels today, but like I said, I might consider a little Howard punt if I want to really get to some bats. I doubt I do. But I'm more on the Giant side if I'm going to play him.
Yeah, I think Howard's in consideration for me too. Just the Angels haven't really hit right-handed pitching, and he's in a good park. And as far as the Giants, Ramos has been on a tear. I like getting to him and Slater and just a few of the bats. I think they probably work better as a mini stack, but overall, I think they're a pretty good feeling stack.
Yeah, I mean, right. And him, Soler, right. I mean, we know what Soler does against lefties, right? Like his splits are like Two-Face from Batman, right? There's just two different sides to him. So I like today's slate. Let's go have a fun weekend. And who do you got? Who's your moonshot tonight?
I'm going with Lourdes Gurriel.
All right. I think this is Miss Price, and it's his birthday. So we can grab Bobby Witt Jr. at MGM for plus 550 right now. He's 400 at DK. That's a lot of value. It's his birthday. I like the birthday narrative. And it's they're in LA. It's a nice hitters park. The park factor I kind of like there today. As we're looking, let's see where we're at on the park factor right now, if it's adjusted at all. Close all. I got to close that. Yeah. So I like the Dodgers park factor for going yard. It's a pretty good spot. So kind of sign me up there.
Yeah, I like that.
Cool. Well, Mr. 30K, let's go. Beers are on you when we do our
Yep.
Arkansas hookup. You are definitely buying now. So that is that we're using Smitty's credit card, and we'll go have a fun weekend.
Let's do it.
All right. Talk to you all, boys and girls, soon.